We begin in the Middle East, where fighting has escalated in the Gaza Strip. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 14 in Rafah, including an Indian employee of the United Nations, marking the first international casualty in the city. Meanwhile, in northern Gaza, Hamas launched 33 attacks against Israeli forces, making it the highest number of attacks by the Palestinian group in a single day this year. Israel deployed its attack helicopters following the escalation by Hamas. And meanwhile, protests against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu continue to grow as Israelis demand a hostage release deal with Hamas. And now, parents of Israeli troops are urging the government to end the operation in Rafah, calling it a death trap. Parents of at least 900 Israeli troops have signed a statement against sending troops into Rafah. And some families blame Netanyahu for the loss of their children and even heckled the prime minister as he delivered the Memorial Day speech.
את חללי פעולות האיבה, אוהבי העם והמדינה. יהי זכרם ברוך.
מכובדיי כולם, יום הזיכרון ה-76 למדינת ישראל.
Families are holding funerals for the troops as casualties mount for Israel. And as the anger grows, Israelis are demanding that the Netanyahu government stay away from the funerals of the slain soldiers.
I prefer no one from the government will come today. No one. I prefer some of the fathers or mothers that given their son, or they will talk today. It doesn't touch us, what he said. I don't believe any words of what he said. And I think all the government should go home today, not come to the ceremonies.
Now, as fighting continues, the operation in Rafah becomes increasingly complex, as reports suggest that Hamas has booby-trapped almost every standing structure in the Gaza city, forcing Israel to increase its airstrikes in order to minimize casualties on the ground. Meanwhile, just a day after the United States publicly criticized Israel, Washington has now shown some support by refusing to call the military operation in Gaza genocide. Now, this comes as more nations join South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. Egypt, Turkey, and Colombia are backing the African nation. However, the United States has decided to draw the line in its criticism of Israel.
We believe Israel can and must do more to ensure the protection and well-being of innocent civilians. We do not believe what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. We have been firmly on record rejecting that proposition. We have paused the shipment of 2,000-pound bombs because we do not believe they should be dropped in densely populated cities.
Now, Washington did in fact call out Israel for not following up their military operation with a political effort to reach a ceasefire deal.
Military pressure is necessary, but not sufficient to fully defeat Hamas. If Israel's military efforts are not accompanied by a political plan for the future of Gaza and the Palestinian people, the terrorists will keep coming back and Israel will remain under threat. We are seeing this happen in Gaza City. So we are talking to Israel about how to connect their military operations to a clear strategic endgame, about a holistic, integrated strategy to ensure the lasting defeat of Hamas and a better alternative future for Gaza and for the Palestinian people.
Now, with voices growing at home and abroad condemning the Rafah operation, Netanyahu and his war cabinet have to make crucial decisions to determine the outcome of this war and quell the growing unrest at home. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.